pretend! Let's pretend! Let's pretend we score the goal!
Hi everybody and welcome to episode 28 of the Coach Killers podcast. My name's Nick and I'm here with Stefan. How you going, Stefan?
Fantastic, mate. Flipping the donuts over here, as you can see, making the coffee.
How's your week been, mate? How's
It's been a somber week. It's been a very somber week.
International break somberness.
International break somberness and no club football, but a lot to talk about, like the Euros kicked off this week.
Yes,
the
they
Euro
did.
qualifiers.
And the defending champions, Portugal, did not start off well. Two draws from their two games, Will they be able to back up and, make it to the Euro finals, or
I'll tell you one
they're
thing.
missing?
I'll tell you one thing that Portugal will be doing during the Euros, and they will be sitting at Nando's. Because they will not qualify at all. That I can guarantee you, my
that's
friend.
a big statement. And what about the Netherlands? They've come up 1 win, 1 loss in their 2 games. We'll talk more about them against Germany later.
Yes, but I don't think it's all doom and gloom for them, and I'll give you my case why in Game of the Week.
So no alarm bells ringing.
No
there for
alarm
Ronald
bells,
Koeman?
mate. They are flying, mate.
And you'd be happy with Italy's current form.
Happy. I'm ecstatic.
A huge 6-0 win.
6-0, mate. Italy couldn't score any
It's
goals 3
Liechtenstein,
weeks
but
ago. It doesn't matter. The Italians are flying, mate.
Yeah,
Watch out.
And there's a new starlet coming.
Yes, there is.
Anyway, we'll talk about him a bit more. And what about, the news close to home, from Western United or whatever they're called, wherever they're from.
Western Penguins. But yeah, they were in talks with former AC Milan striker Pato to try get him down here on a deal.
Yes, Alexandre Pato.
Yes,
but they couldn't get it done. They failed. He said he wants to move back to Brazil and play for Sao Paulo next year after he's had his 2 years in China.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Does that say something?
Yeah, it does. It shows that the A-League's obviously not even up to standard of the Brazilian Championship, which is an absolute joke of a league, might I add. But, he had the option to come here, get paid highly. Is the A-League
more of a joke than the Brazilian League?
It is a little bit. I mean, we've got goalkeepers here wearing caps during games, so I don't know about that. But anyway.
So that's happened. They've signed a few players, but they missed out on the big one.
Yeah,
hopefully they can get a bigger signing than Kone.
Hey, convince Seedorf to come out of retirement. Why not?
Yeah, well, might as well get Florent Maluda as well.
That's it. Get John Arnorisa while you're at it as well.
Well, Ryan Babel's doing wonders for Fulham.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, let's kick off with our Coach Killer of the Week.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Yes, and our Coach Killer for this week is
Chris Niku.
Yes, the FFA chairman.
What chairman?
Mate, so during the week, we heard the FFA chairman, Chris Niku, come out and tell the A-League fans that the thought of promotion and relegation is unlikely until 2034.
Yes, that's right, Nick. He stated the current A-League clubs have a licence till 2034, so promotion and relegation earlier than that is not likely. Meaning it won't even be a possibility until 2034.
That's 15 years away.
That is, what I'm about to say.
Mate, it's absolutely crazy. It was, it was a personal view from him, and as no discussions around the matter have happened with the board or anything like that. What do you make of that? How can you come out and say that?
I agree with you, Nick. The FFA then came out to clarify the statement, but made the water murkier. From what has been said, I think the A-League clubs, want control of their own destiny with an independent league before it happened.
I can see that point of view, Stefan. I really can. I can understand it. With no salary cap restrictions, the clubs can move forward with big investors that will help and, maybe get these Alexandre Patos.
That's right. And look at Canberra. What happened with Canberra, right? Multi-million-dollar investors, and they said no. Stupid move by the league.
Absolutely.
But more to it, in the blueprint for an independent competition to exist, a growth to a 16-team home and away competition is viewed as the first step to bringing promotion and relegation to and from a national second division.
I agree, but 2034? Really? It's absolutely ridiculous. We want to grow the game and then give these teams some chance to fight.
I agree.
To win.
Yeah.
Put it in a discussion, and for a vote, really. There only needs to be 75% approval from the existing clubs for the promotion relegation to come into effect.
Well, I mean, you know what? This discussion's going to happen for years. We could be sitting here in the next 10 years talking about this. You know that, right? And the sad part is we need this to happen because
We do.
teams like the Central Coast Mariners are making the A-League look like a garbage sewer.
Yeah, well, look, they're completely well off the pace.
But they're fine with that because they know they're not going to get relegated.
And that's right. There's no
And there's
consequences.
no problem. There's no issue with being last. There is an issue. Look at all the top leagues in the world. Teams have believed to not finish in
And there's
in the bottom three.
Even like, all right, you look at AFL or even basketball. Well,
Yeah.
not basketball anymore.
Yeah.
But AFL, right? You finish last,
Yeah.
you get number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
In the A-League, you finish last,
And nothing happens.
nothing happens. You don't get relegated.
That's
There's
right.
no draft.
But we can't bring in a draft anyway because this
No,
is football.
we don't want to
It's
draft.
not Aussie rules.
No, we don't want to draft.
We
But
want relegation.
I'm saying what, for the team that's sitting bottom, on X amount of points after 20-something games, what's their motivation to do well?
The thing is as well, and a lot of people do not understand this, but these teams that finish last do not get enough money, right? If you finish last. It's only going to end up worse for the A-League because eventually what will happen is a team like the Central Coast Mariners with a lot of history will go bankrupt
Yeah, I think
and
so.
then fold.
Mate, it's all the FA's fault.
That's
That's
right.
why, Chris Niku and the FFA, you are our coach killer of the week. Now, let's move on to the A-League review. Yes, let's kick it off with the Wellington Phoenix game.
Flying.
Yes, against the Wanderers, mate. They beat them 3-1.
Yeah.
All 3 of Phoenix goals were scored in the first half. Roy Krishna's late red card, though, was a big point in
That's
the game.
a big problem.
He's a pivotal part of their attack. So they'll miss him this week. And, the Phoenix are currently in 4th position on the table with 5 rounds remaining, sitting 8 points clear of 7th place Newcastle to be within touching distance of their first final berth in 4 seasons. Wow.
Unbelievable. They've been the surprise packet of the year. And we've mentioned them every week, on the show. And there's a reason for that. It's because they're absolutely flying. They are the informed team of the A-League. They're the dark horse.
Well,
I'm serious.
We said it in our A-League review, all these signings, they brought in Stephen Taylor.
Yeah, our preview at the start of the season, we said we had them in the finals. We did. We had them both in to make it, but we didn't think this would be happening.
Yeah, well, they're playing out of their skins.
The culture has been overhauled there by Mark Rudan. He's brought a new part of playing.
Hopefully they can keep Mark Rudan.
I mean, there's big rumours that he's already signed for Western United. That's
Huge
the big rumour around, and I believe it. I think he's already signed for Western United.
But what if Wellington go all the way? All right,
He won't stay.
It's we're drawing at,
I mean, I'd love it.
we're
I'd love
clutching
it.
at strings here or something. Whatever the saying
Clutching at
is.
straws.
Clutching at straws. And what if they do come win? Does he leave?
Yeah, I think he does still. I think he's already done it. The deal's done, apparently. The deal was done months ago.
Okay.
So that's the rumour on the Inside Football, Goss.
And what about our Victory Boys?
Yes.
Last Saturday.
The mighty V.
They got the job done against the Raw, winning 2-1 at home. That was the Victory's most pivotal win of the season, in my opinion.
Really?
As they were coming off an average run. Like, what
Yeah, I agree.
four in a row.
Drawing, losing, the AFC Champions League as well.
And Barbaroussa's first half double sealed the win, which has now cemented Victory's 3rd place in the competition.
Yeah.
Stefan, we've been talking about it all year. Are they the real deal or are they pretenders?
You know
Liverpool?
what? I cannot believe I'm going to
the
say
A-League.
this. I can't believe it, but I reckon they are pretenders.
Get off it,
I
mate.
think Perth Glory will win the A-League by a mile. I think it could be
mate,
Perth
every
versus
team-
Wellington.
Mate, every team goes through their lulls, and I think...
Their lull hasn't stopped. They're playing shocking football.
Well, we'll see. They're playing...
They're relying on individuals now because they know their play is no longer good enough.
They've got Perth Glory this week.
Oh,
so
mate, that's going to be
if they
a bath.
can get that
that's
win,
going to be a bath.
2nd place is not far.
Nah, it's
and then
gone.
maybe first.
It's
Who
gone.
knows?
It's gone. It's gone.
Who knows?
Willis.
They got to win all 5 games if they're to finish top of.
Willis, it's gone. All right.
And what about that cracking game last night?
Oh,
What an absolute gem of a game. Brisbane
loved
versus Sydney.
yeah.
Sydney got back to their winning ways, beating the Raw 3-1.
Yeah.
I think the Raw's just getting hammered at the moment. It was a
copping
really entertaining match and was probably one of the better Friday night fixtures of the season.
I agree, mate. I 100% agree.
Lafrange and De Jong on the score sheet for Sydney was an absolute masterclass from the Sky Blues, in my opinion.
Yeah, mate. I'm with you.
They're 6 points off the top place. Do you think they can, hold aloft the Premier's plate?
No, they can't. There's no way. Perth will grab the Premier's plate, but Sydney are looking good. Got to admit, they're coming to good form right at the right time of the season now. You know, with only so many games left, they're doing better than Melbourne Victory. That I can assure you.
The glory of, been doing well, and I think Diego Castro is probably their main driving force.
And who is he in the grand scheme of things? An absolute hack.
Well, all right. I saw something during the week comparing Diego Castro to Keisuke Honda, right? And his stats for the season, and they're pretty spot on.
Of course,
and this is Keisuke Honda, a seasoned veteran.
Oh, mate, look,
he played for AC Milan.
So what? He played for AC Milan in their worst period. That's what nobody understands. That was an average Milan team.
The Japanese hero, come on, Diego Castro. Keisuke Honda.
Listen, mate.
Honda's 10 times the player that Castro will ever be.
Honda's future is going to be featuring in the next sequel of Kung Fu Panda.
All right. He's past it now. He's a bit old.
He's long past it.
Right? But I'm saying...
How can you have a player... Wait. How can you have a player managing a team?
Doesn't matter.
I don't care. That's absolutely bonkers.
But he's still probably the best player in the A-League if you look at his stats, and Castro's right up there with him. You know what I mean? So... I think that's good signs for the glory. Castro was brought in to do a job.
I can't believe Victory have accepted Keisuke Honda's services on a part-time basis, paid him all this money, and he's still going to coach a team. That is absolutely outrageous. I don't agree with that. Are you a footballer or are you a manager? You can't be both.
Mate,
look at Vialli at Chelsea and the stuff that happened there.
When you play in the A-League, you can be whatever you want.
Mate,
we're still a growing league.
That stuff doesn't even work at the top level. That's just like saying, let's get the orange boy to be an assistant coach.
It doesn't matter.
At the same time.
When you watch Honda play, he runs rings around 85% of the players in the A-League.
Yeah, and he's a part-time manager. That's the saddest part of all.
It is. It is
That's
sad, but it's the truth.
It's sad.
Right? And for Castro to be up there with the same similar stats as Honda, that's a good.
It shows how Honda really is, then, I guess.
And Sydney, sorry, you're not winning the Premier's plate.
Yeah, look, really, we don't want you to win the Premier's plate because you guys suck to us.
And let's hope Adelaide drop out.
Oh, no.
We just got to put that in.
And lastly, I've got some exclusive news, Nick, for all our A-League
what is this?
listeners. I'm going to pick the
Breaking
A-League back up again.
Tell me.
This is something I've personally been waiting for, and I hope this happens. So, Network 10, so Channel 10, is set to make a major bid to secure the A-League free-to-air broadcast rights next season and increase the number of games televised live each week. But not only that, they want to challenge Fox Sports and become the main broadcaster for the A-League.
What?
Now, Nick, just imagine free-to-air football in Australia, what it would do for the country and the game.
Mate, if I was Gillan McLaughlin at the AFL headquarters,
my butt would be caving in.
I'd be worried. Because, mate, football in Australia is
It's
growing.
the most growing sport.
It is, absolutely.
The kids are, enrollment for soccer and AFL, it's two different spectrums. Football enrollment for young kids wanting to play football is like 600,000 compared to AFL is like 80,000.
Yeah, no, I agree. And mate,
imagine this.
Free to air, that's what will help grow the league as well.
All free to air A-League games.
Not
live.
everyone can afford Foxtel these days, especially with how expensive life is.
That's right. And football, is a worldwide game.
That's it. I hope Network 10 do get it because one game a week from SBS isn't good enough.
Imagine that. Stephen Quartermain commentating A-League games.
Maybe Archie Thompson will get a
Maybe us.
Maybe us. Yes, get us if Network 10 if you're listening. But so that's been our A-League review for this week. Let's move on to our game of the week, which was Netherlands versus Germany in the Euro qualifiers.
Oh, you beauty! What a headshot! What a head!
Yes, what an absolute gem of a game it was. Full of excitement and goals galore, really.
Oh, I love this game. Germany secured a thrilling 3-2 winner over the Netherlands. The Dutch fought back from 2 goals behind in Amsterdam on Sunday night for the European qualifier, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, well, Leroy Sané opened the scoring with a well-taken finish after, a first touch inside the box. But Serge Gnabry's stole the first half show after cutting inside Virgil van Dijk to whip a wonderful ball into the top corner for a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, well, at that stage, I was watching the game and it looked like it was all over for the Dutch. But the Dutch transformed into a different team in the second half. I don't know what Koeman did, but Matthias de Ligt pulled one back with a leading header before Memphis Depay found an equaliser from the inside of the box. Yeah, I said Memphis Depay, didn't I? No.
But then the game built to a crescendo in the 90th minute with Nico Schulz, who won it for Germany at the death, mate.
Mate, I have not watched a European qualifier like that for a while. It was an absolute cracking game. I know Germany won and everyone's all chuffed about the 90th minute winner, but I cannot believe how much the Dutch have improved, especially in recent years with all the problems that have been happening in the Dutch team on and off the field. They will be seriously a massive threat when this Euro begins.
Do you see them qualifying this time? Because they've missed out on the World Cup and the Euro.
Yeah,
I
see them qualifying by a mile.
Well.
I see them qualifying by a mile.
But, all right, it was a younger German team that came out, that rose from the ashes of being, dropped, really.
Yeah.
Who dropped out in the World Cup.
I know everyone's all scared, It's one of those things. Germany's always going to be up there, but for me, the Dutch have been the massive improvers over the last 4 years or so because, just in saying that Germany have dominated the Dutch and that they haven't. They won off a 90th minute goal. We've got to remember this. Now, the Dutch were
big games count because
they do count.
They're
they do
two
count.
Heavyweights in the league.
They are in their group.
In their group,
they are. But who's to say that they can't drop points with each other? Who's to say that the Dutch can't go to Germany and give them an arse whipping? Because I think they can. I think Ronald Koeman has done an absolutely fantastic job, and just further on that point, I just want to say, in my opinion, I think Joachim Low has had his time, and his World Cup showed it. Do you agree?
Yeah, man, I think he's had his time. I think they need to find a new manager.
So you're agreeing with me that he's done?
I think he's done. Joachim Low's had his time. He won the World Cup. That's it.
Yeah,
give someone else a go.
That's it. I 100% agree with you, Nick.
Maybe Klopp will take over after Liverpool fail.
Oh, that's no.
And maybe they'll do a swapsies.
Oh, Joachim Low Liverpool. Oh, that's absolute garbage, Nick.
Anyway, Netherlands' next game is against England in the semi-finals of the UEFA Nations League in Portugal. I think England will run rings around this young, improving Dutch team. Right?
Ronald Koeman's Dutch team is going to do something in the next. If they can give him 4 years, I'm confident that they'll make a final.
So
whether it be the
are
Euro
they
or
a
the
chance
World Cup.
against England?
Yeah, they'll smash them.
You think they'll smash them?
They're more organised than the Poms. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true.
England
only went far because they had an easy group.
No, they got an exciting team, and now with what's his name, Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah,
he's been running rings in the Bundesliga.
Well, we'll have to see. England's
really
always had
well
good players
in the qualifiers too.
They've always had good players, but when they get to the World Cups and the Euros, they crap themselves.
But maybe
there's no winning mentality.
Gareth Southgate is a new era, I think, and they showed it in the World Cup. They did well. They did well. They made it to the semi-finals.
They did well, and they got beaten by Croatia, but they did well.
So that was our game of the week for this week,
which was an amazing one.
It was a great game. We picked a good one.
Yeah, we did.
Stay tuned for later in the episode to hear our next game of the week.
Yes.
But now it's time for Around the Leagues. Yes, let's begin with the Spurs. Harry Kane came out, this week saying this is the best Tottenham team ever, and they need to win trophies to show it.
I agree with him. This Tottenham team hasn't spent any money on the transfer window, and look where they are. Yeah. They're doing a pretty good job considering the people that are behind them,
Mate, they've become a Champions League regular under Pochettino and have finished in the top 3 in the past 3 seasons of the Premier League. But they don't have anything to show for it.
Well, look, they're out of the title race and all of the cup competitions in England for this season anyway. But, they still have a chance for the Champions League. I think, and I've said it, they're going to do something in the Champions League.
Yeah, you rate them as a dark horse, don't you?
Yeah, I'm tipping them to get to the semi-finals, which means I'm tipping them to get through against City over the 2 legs.
Yes, they do have City in the Champions League now, and, I don't think they have enough belief, really, to get the job done.
I think you're wrong. You're wrong and delusional. If anything, you should be backing up my point. You're a Man United supporter. Why would you want City to go through?
No,
I don't think City will go through. They're susceptible at the back.
It's just from an outside point of view that I don't care which team goes through because they're both going to lose to United.
Yeah, right.
Because United's winning the Champions League.
This is how I see it. Harry Kane against Sergio Aguero. I think Kane will get the upper hand.
You think so?
That's how I see it.
Big call.
They're going to be the two differences in the
No,
Champions
I
League.
think City's too much quality. They got the squad to compete in the Premier League and in the Champions League now, and it's going to be a tough task for the Spurs to get through.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think they're going through.
All right. Well, let's talk about Lukaku's comments this week. He hit back at the critics and claimed he's the best Belgian striker ever.
Yeah, he probably is. He said that he would cop criticism, and he was told he wasn't good enough, actually, from his younger days, saying, journalists said I was no good and wouldn't score 25 goals for Belgium. I think I was only 19 at the time. Wow.
Well, he's scored 45 goals in 79 caps for his country right now.
Yep.
Making him the top scorer in their history. He did say when he runs out to play for Belgium, he doesn't run out with pride, but rather with anger, just to prove all his haters wrong.
Well, that's another problem in itself. He scored all these goals as well, which is good. Don't get me
But
wrong.
he still gets criticised by his...
He's Belgium's top striker, but he's not going to win him a World Cup or Europa League, or Euro. And Belgium will never win any of those competitions. That I can tell you right now.
Oh, come on.
Come on. Everyone the last two World Cups was like, oh, Belgium, dark horse. Where? What happened in the Euro? Can I refresh your memory? First game of the Euro?
They finished third.
Hang on. First game of the Euro. Wait. Let me refresh your memory. Giaccherini dominates Belgium. A 32-year-old Giaccherini. And this is a team that's going to win a cup competition.
Mate, that was 4 years ago.
Mate, get over it. Belgium's overrated. We saw it in the World Cup.
They did well in the World Cup.
They did
They
so
finished
good.
Third.
They did so good in a group with bloody Tunisia, I think it was.
They finished third overall.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Everyone remembers bronze place. Please.
No one remembers
Spare
it.
me. Spare me.
They're improving, and I think this Euro will be their crown.
You reckon they'll win the
I'm
Euro?
calling it from now. The Euro is Belgium.
You absolutely got something wrong with
Belgium-France final. Huge.
Fantastic.
Anyway,
Fantastic.
We'll revisit this in 2020.
What do you mean? What about Macedonia?
We'll be happy.
Through.
Macedonia will be happy just
They're
to
going to
make
qualify. But anyway.
Let's talk about Unai Emery now and his plans for Arsenal. He has apparently sanctioned the sales of Mkhitaryan, Ozil, Elneny, Chambers and Mustafi to clear up funds to bring in 4 new signings in June. What do you make of that?
That's a manager.
You think so?
That is a manager. That's an absolute godsend. That is what you want from the club. That is what you want, as a fan from your manager. He's sanctioned, what he thinks are his best players.
Mkhitaryan, Ozil, Elneny, these are all starting players in their current team who, have been doing well. Like Mkhitaryan's turned his, Premier League career around at Arsenal, and now they want to get rid of him.
Well,
and Ozil a servant and they're going to lose Ramsey as well to Juventus.
You know what?
They
need a fresh start. They need a fresh start. They're Arsenal. They're a big club. They're one of the biggest clubs in London, if not the biggest, right? Even though they're nowhere at the moment, right? They bring in big players. Everyone wants to play for Arsenal. No one's not going to say no.
Who are they going to bring in?
Well,
who's they going to bring in that's better than Mkhitaryan?
They've brought in good players. You cannot say, do not tell me for 1 second that this season they've brought in rubbish. They brought in Lino, who's been a godsend. Torreira, who's been a godsend. Guendouzi, who's been an absolute freak at 19, dealing with so much pressure. They're, the other guy, what's his name? I forgot his name, but, they've brought in the centre-back they brought in.
Mustafi? No,
not Mustafi.
Socrates. He's been rubbish.
He's been okay. Give him some time to adjust. My point is this. They're going in the right path. They're going on the right path. I don't see anything wrong with that.
And huge news coming out of Germany this week. Bayern Munich have agreed a deal with Atletico for Lucas Hernandez, who will join the Bavarians for 80 million euros. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, the transfer was confirmed on Wednesday, and they are paying double the previous Bundesliga record for a defender when they bought Tolisso for 41 million euros.
He's now the second most expensive defender in the world, and I think he can live up to his price tag. Bayern have made a completely awesome acquisition here.
Yeah, but does the price really reflect the player they are bringing in, or is it just inflation in today's prices?
I think it's a bit of both, really. He's a World Cup winner, a Europa League winner, and a Champions League runner-up, all at the age of 23, Stefan. So I think the price reflects that.
Yeah, but
you're paying for an experienced player.
He's got experience. He's played in the big games. I do agree with that. But sometimes with these big price tags, they fall. We've seen him crash and burn in the past. So I'm not too sure what to make of his signing, to be honest. And I've never rated Tolisso, mind you, either. So
yeah,
Paul.
We'll see. Good luck, Hernandez. Let's see how you do.
Doesn't sound right.
But a player who burst on the scene for Italy this past fortnight, Mr. Moise Keane.
I don't know why everyone's saying he burst on the scene firstly, but anyway, go on.
Mate, he's set for long-term contract negotiations with Juventus after scoring twice for Italy's senior team. That's a little bit. Tell us a little bit about him, Stefan.
Well, Moise Keane burst onto the scene 2 years ago. If you watch Italian football, you'd know. We already know who Moise Keane is.
We're talking about world football now, so he's burst on the scene
he's burst
of
on the
world
scene
football.
in international football. Yeah, look, he's been a gun for Juve, right? He was 17. I think in his first game against Chievo once, he scored maybe, I think, a goal or two and an assist. He's always had talent, this kid, but I do not agree that he's Italy's new Mario Balotelli because he's another spectrum from Balotelli. He's not Balotelli.
Well, I see him as a new Balotelli.
Why? Because, why is he Balotelli, though? I don't agree with that. That's
because the same
stupid.
hype was around Balotelli when he was 19 years old too.
There is, but this kid doesn't go out partying every weekend and trashing himself.
Well, no, we're talking about as a footballer,
As a
not
footballer,
as a person.
footballing talent, yes,
Yeah,
he's got talent.
that's what I'm talking about.
He's played 4 times in the Serie A and he scored 2 goals, and my opinion is that that's Juve's best player they've brought in from the youth. He's been their best player, 100%.
Right, so those 2 goals in the Serie A and now 2 goals for his national team.
Oh, he's doing good.
Mate,
he's doing
on
wonders.
the up and up.
Italy's on fire at the moment. You'll see him anyway in the next few tournaments. That I'm sure of, anyway. So watch out for Moise Keane, mate, and the Italian rampage is going to come through.
Yes, also, some rumours coming out of France is that Mourinho will be Lyon's next manager.
Wow, how the mighty have fallen. Did you hear... Did you hear Lyon's current manager, Bruno Genesio, said that he would be honoured to be replaced by Mourinho? What do you make of that?
To me, that sounds like a man that's not interested in his job anymore. How can you say you want that to happen when you're currently in charge of the team? I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't think there will be many people knocking his door down for his services if Mourinho takes over at Lyon. Where's he going to go? Maybe he can be Roma's next manager.
Yeah, right, Bruno Genesio. Right. Anyway, look, you know what? It's sad that Jose Mourinho's succumbed to League One football. If he does, that's shocking.
Yeah, well, where else is he going to go?
He's absolutely nowhere. He's butchered all the best teams in the world.
He's still young.
I know.
He can't just retire.
I know. Look, he's still a good manager. I still rate him. It's just it didn't work out at United because he wasn't on terms with everyone
didn't
there.
really work out at Chelsea either.
That's right.
His second stint.
Plus, it was all true in the end about him and Pogba, at United. Everyone, they were all trying to cover it up. It was all true. They didn't like each other. So, they couldn't cover it up. It was a big issue. It's best that he's gone.
Well,
and
it
he
is.
deserves. Look, he needs a fresh start. I think Lyon could give that for him.
Speaking of managers,
Yeah.
there's been a permanent deal put in place
Yes, there has.
at down at Old Trafford.
Yeah, there has.
Mr. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is now the permanent manager for the next 3 years.
That's fantastic. Woo!
Come on, show some real enthusiasm.
I'm not.
No, it's
He
a good
deserves
appointment.
Look, he deserves the appointment for the season.
Mate,
I wouldn't say 3 years. I don't think it'll last.
You don't think you'll last?
3
What if he
years
wins the
at Man
Champions League
United.
this season?
If he wins the Champions League, God help me. I'll have to take everything back. He'll have to do a Di Matteo. Win the Champions League and never be heard of again.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's right. That guy, eh?
What happened to Tim Matteo?
Mate, he went to Schalke and now, rumour has it, he's had his nonnas making gnocchi during the day.
Maybe you should get Higuain over, bring him pizza or something.
No, that's shocking. No, look, it's a good thing. Good on him.
No.
He deserves the shot. Why not?
Look, as a United fan, I'm happy just because...
No shit.
It's night and day, mate. It's absolute night and day. Under Mourinho, the first half of the season compared to Solskjaer now, the past 20 games or whatever it's been, if the season started when Solskjaer took over, we'll be top of the table.
But
that's such a difference.
You can't say that because you're not.
No, I know. But I'm
Shoulda,
saying...
coulda, wouldas don't exist in football.
No. I'm not saying that
There's
that's
a
what should have
chance,
happened.
listen.
I'm just saying that it's a good appointment because...
It is. He deserves his role. He deserves it. How can you not take him? He's got you from absolute nowhere.
I'm not saying he's a better manager than Mourinho. He's a young manager. But maybe he's the right manager for United
He's
at
the right,
this time.
yeah. At right now, he's the right manager for Manchester United. There's a big difference, and that's what I agree with. I think he's the man to take us forward.
Thank you.
How far? I don't know. We'll wait and see.
To the Champions League, baby! Anyway, that's been our Around the League segment, and now it's time for our favourite segment, Stefan.
My favourite segment.
What is it?
Fan Talk!
When my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
Yes, Fan Talk, Stefan, it's back again. Kick it off for us.
By the way, I just got to say, we have a lot of questions to get through, so let's go.
Questions and topics. I love this. This week was really good. So.
Yes. So first question from Carter.Jennett. Who's the best player at each of the A-League teams?
Best player, maybe we can say most important player for the team.
Yeah, let's
well.
go. Let's kick it off. So,
All right,
who's
Brisbane Roar.
Oh, I'd say on and off the pitch, most important, Enrique, I reckon, because of his experience.
His experience is their talisman.
Yeah.
You know, he loves the club from what he told us last week.
Yes.
You know, I think he's their most important, and as well, I agree.
Yes.
What about Sydney?
Lafonge.
He's been the X factor this season.
Yes, he has. He's a machine.
Broski's finished, so Lafonge for me too. What about Wellington?
Kishner.
What about Stephen Taylor, mate? Marshalling that defence.
And Taylor, yeah, both of them. It's hard, but Krishna because he scored all the goals.
I think Stephen Taylor's whipped them into shape.
Well, there you go.
That Premier League experience, he's got it covered.
I agree.
And what about the Newcastle Jets?
Daniel Georgievski, mate. Hard-hitting, absolute gut-destroying player.
I'll have to agree, but I think Dimi Petratos. I think he runs that midfield, mate.
No, disagree.
What about the Central Coast?
Central Coast Mariners.
Would you say Jem Karachain is their best player?
Yeah, Jem Karachain, I'd say best player technically wise, but not team-wise.
Experience-wise as well,
Yeah, probably experience-wise as well, yeah.
And then you got the Scum Adelaide.
Oh, I'd say Goodwin.
Yeah, Craig Goodwin, mate.
Yeah, he's their best player.
Agreed.
By far.
Agreed on that one. What about the Wanderers?
And the Wanderers. They go around.
Bonavazia?
Bonavazia, 100%.
I
Not
agree.
that little German freak they got. He's rubbish.
No, well, I think Babel loves him.
Yeah, too much.
And then we've got the Shoemakers team.
Oh.
Melbourne City.
Popeye. Melbourne City. Popeye's team. That's easy. Jamie McLaren right now.
You think so? You're picking all these strikers, mate. Attacking
Well,
players.
no, it's Jamie McLaren. He makes the difference. The rest of them are all hacks.
No, not Richard Delat.
Forget about Richard Delat, please.
Not Scorpion Boy.
Nah, Scorpion Boy no good either, mate. He's
All
just
right,
a hack.
all right. What about the league leaders, Perth Glory?
Mate, I think it's Chris Economidis.
No, I'm off that guy.
Nah,
he's
it's
overrated.
It's
got to be Castro, mate.
I don't know. No.
Has to be Castro.
For me, it's Economidis. It's Economidis.
You're wrong.
All right,
anyway,
thank you.
And finally, our boys, Melbourne Victory, most important player, Honda.
Yeah, Honda.
Has to be Honda.
Unfortunately.
Honda
and Toivonen.
That's right. When Honda and Toivonen are playing, Melbourne Victory are most likely going.
Not in recent times, but anyway.
Well, you'd like to think. But yeah, that's a great question. What's our next one?
Our next question comes from Joey_Lettieri. Who's the best coach in the A-League? That is a no-brainer for me. Yeah. So I'm going to cut you off.
Same time. 1, 2, 3. Mark Rudin.
No! Oh my God! Popovic by a mile.
No,
Tony
mate.
Popovic, mate.
Oh, don't worry about the Popper. Look at what Mark Rudin has done at the Phoenix, man.
No, he's done good, but no, it's Popovic. I don't care.
Highly.
Popovic by a mile.
For a second, I thought you were going to say Warren Joyce.
Never. Popeye does not get a vote.
Yeah, come on. All right. Why Popovic? Tell me why.
Because he's brought Perth from absolute nowhere, from a shambles of a club, right, to the top.
More of a shambles than what Wellington were these past few years?
No, they've both done it equally as well.
Wellington were close to folding, mate.
Mate, Popovic is 6 points in front right now of Sydney with a game in hand. He's going to win the Premier's play. He's 3 games ahead of everyone. We haven't seen a dominance like that in the A-League since the Brisbane Roar days. So I rest my case. No,
I agree. He's
and look what that manager went on to do. So if it's any indication, Popovic is on the right path.
All right, fair enough. But no, I say Mark Rudin, man. Come on. Turning that team around, getting the fans behind them, getting them in the finals. Just getting them in the finals. They haven't made finals for the past 4 years.
Spare me.
Come on. It's got to be Mark Rudin. Let us know anyway this week. What do you think?
Let us know, Joey Lettieri. But anyway, our next question. Adam_Ewit. When should the A-League introduce promotion/relegation?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, right now. It's 12:43.
Not in 2034.
Nah, way earlier than 2034. We need this for the league.
It's got to be done.
It's an absolute laughing stock. It's a joke. I'm not even going to talk about it because I get angry.
No, we have to talk about it.
No, I'm just saying I don't want to.
We have to discuss it, and the sooner the better.
No, the sooner the better.
Give the smaller teams a chance. I mean, look at the FFA Cup; it's doing wonders. Like you see these little teams like
beating
Bentley Greens
teams.
Getting in Broadmeadows.
Yeah.
Getting in there.
Rockdale Suns.
RPR. Yeah, well,
unbelievable. Up here, we're going to bring Toddy down for a game, mate. Oh,
look at it like this.
Come on.
If there was a second division, Central Coast Mariners would be mid-table in that second division.
If there was a second division, Central Coast Mariners wouldn't even be in it because by then the stadium would have been bulldozed.
You reckon they'll be third league?
It would have been a children's playground by then. That Mariners stadium.
I really hope the Mariners can turn
They're
it
a
around.
joke. I hope they can't.
We've hanged
They're
a lot on them this episode.
They're a joke.
But what can you do? All right, what's next?
Our last one isn't a question, it's a topic, Nick, from Joseph McAway. He wants to know what we think about the new Champions League.
Mate, I don't like the idea of the new Champions League. The Champions League just needs to stay in Europe. You know, there's no point in bringing these smaller teams like from South America and whatever.
What the hell is that? Oh, I can't believe this world. This world's cooked.
Yeah, I don't like it. Like, it's good as it is now. The only thing is, all the big teams, it's always the same big teams that are in there. So I guess if you do go into the new...
But this is... Hang on.
The new idea...
Everyone says this, right? The big teams are there to be taken down.
Yeah.
We've seen big teams being taken down in the past. We've seen teams, for instance, like Inter Milan, they made it their name in the Champions League.
The next time we'll see a Nottingham Forest win...
But you don't...
You know,
but hang on.
Or a Blackburn, you know... Get in there.
My point is, right, it could happen
Even
this season.
Porto.
It could happen this season.
When's that going to happen?
It could happen this season with Tottenham.
True.
It could happen with Tottenham. It could happen with City.
But
a new dynasty could be built.
Tottenham's part of the big six
Hang on,
now.
a new dynasty could be built with Melbourne City. It could happen with Ajax. Ajax could return to the Cup. It could happen with Juve. Juve's back. You know, you don't know. There's so many stories are waiting to be written.
Juve is a heavyweight, a European.
They're not a heavyweight in Europe.
Ajax, I agree. If Ajax come and have a miracle, you know, and win, because it's going to be very difficult.
Listen, this is modern day football now. Whether you can accept it or not, this is modern day football. This is a Champions League. The biggest teams play in the Champions League. The 32 biggest teams, or however many are in the group stage, play in the Champions League. They're the biggest teams in Europe. If you want to be part of that crew, you got to work hard. You got to rethink your board structure, your transfer policies, if you want to get in there. We've seen teams that have been in there for years now, right? They're obviously doing something right, like Atletico Madrid. They were never a Champions League regular. They're featured in 2 finals. They're always in the Champions League.
But what about if you have like a you know, an A-League team in there? With this new idea that they're
seriously,
thinking of doing.
I'm not for this new idea only because of
just
the fact
leave it as Europe and then leave it as the Asian Champions League.
There's a different quality of football compared to Europe and the other continents. All right, South America cannot compete with Europe at the moment. Brazil used to be able to compete in a World Cup. Now all they do is get embarrassed.
If these teams get in there,
it's a joke.
I'm saying if they do this and get in, who's to say that Melbourne Victory cannot become one of the world's heavyweights? Once they get rid of all this salary cap rubbish and whatever, because if you say Melbourne Victory is playing in the Champions League,
I know that's a joke. I can't even get that in my head.
Why would these big players not want to come and sign there? Like, why wouldn't you want to come and live in Australia and play in Australia?
It's going to do more for the little teams, yes, but in the essence of the Champions League as a competition, it's going to ruin it. It's going to drop its morale.
I agree. With that, I agree, and I think
it's a prestigious comp. Only the best teams have won the Champions League. There's never been a fake winner that has won the Champions League. So, you know, I disagree with this whole thing, and I want it to stay as it is. And I'm a Roma supporter. We haven't won a Champions League, but I want it to stay as it is because I believe that each year you see the best teams in Europe that are in the Champions League. They're the best teams in Europe.
But why not the best teams in the world? I agree with you.
Do the Club World Cup. Take that more serious. That's what it's about. Do that. The Club World Cup used to be taken seriously.
I agree, but
that's what it is. The Club World Cup, not the UEFA Champions League. That is Europe's bread and butter. That is a silly move. I don't agree with that. But that's our answer anyway, Joseph McAway.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed our answer there. You know, and that's been fan talk for this episode. Now let's look at some huge games coming up in the next 2 weeks, and let's announce our game of the week, Stefan.
So yes, our first game coming up this following week will be Newcastle Jets versus the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Yeah, big game, crunch game for both teams here. You know, they both need to win, especially the Jets if they want to make finals.
Yeah, and then we've got Melbourne City versus Adelaide.
Another big game here. Both teams need to win to keep their final spots.
Yeah, that's going to be a cracking game.
Well, hopefully City get the job done and Adelaide
I think City will get the job done. And then we're going to Germany, and we've got Bayern Munich against Borussia Dortmund.
Huge top of the table
clashes of the week. Unbelievable.
Look, they're both on even points. Do you think this will decide the title race?
This is going to be the one, but I'm tipping Dortmund here. I think Dortmund's going to surprise them and shock a few people. But anyway, moving on, we have Sevilla versus Deportivo Alaves.
Yeah, huge game. They're both in Champions League spots. Like Alaves,
I can't believe it. I can't believe
You know, Sevilla actually behind.
Yeah.
They need to make up some ground here.
Well, with Monchi back, they might be able to do something.
Oh, big call.
Yes, and then we go to the Barcelona game against Atletico Madrid. What an enticing
First
match.
versus second.
Yeah, can Atletico bring a surprise?
Another top of the table clash, you know, which is something that's becoming a massive rivalry as well.
Yeah,
Barcelona versus Madrid.
Yeah.
Especially with Griezmann being linked to Barcelona now as well.
Oh, he might
Who
be doing
knows
the
what happened
dirty.
there?
He might be doing the dirty, the dog.
Oh, then what?
Oh, no.
Next?
Then we have AS Roma up against Napoli.
Well, the title is gone for Napoli now, but Roma, you know, are fighting for that fourth place spot. You know,
It's
they
now
can't
or
afford
never.
to lose anymore, I don't think.
It's now or never, in the great words of Bon Jovi. But anyway, moving on to the game in Italy to watch is Juventus versus AC Milan.
What a massive
The
rivalry.
Derby d'Italia.
Huge. Two of Italians' heavyweights
Yeah.
coming together. Milan need to win if they want Champions League football next season.
Juve all the way in this one.
With Ronaldo being injured, mate, it's a genuine possibility that Milan get the job done.
You might be right.
A second loss for the season coming up. Who knows?
Then we have Inter Milan versus Atalanta. Please, Atalanta win.
What a game! What a 2 weeks is going to be.
This is
in
going to
Italy,
be
mate.
crazy. It's
pretty
going to be
good.
crazy.
You know, top four
Top four
fight
yeah.
is alive.
This is it.
You know, if Inter will lose again without the talisman Icardi, in my opinion.
Wow. Then we go to England for Liverpool versus Tottenham. I can't wait for that. This is
Massive
it.
game.
This
Will
is
Liverpool slip up, you know, once and for all, or will Spurs continue on their horror run, Stefan?
Oh, I don't know. I think Tottenham might just get them. And lastly, we have Everton versus Arsenal.
Can the Gunners keep their top four spot, or will Everton continue their current great form and try and clinch fifth, you know, for a Europa League berth next season?
Go the Toffees. And our game of the week will be Sydney versus Melbourne Victory, the Big Blue.
Yes, what a massive game. Victory, well, this is their chance, Stefan, what we were talking about before. This is their chance to get second if they beat Perth Glory.
Oh, mate, it's
top
on.
spot
It's
is on.
It's
Top
on like
spot is
Donkey
on.
Kong.
But that's been our show for this fortnight. You know, not many games due to the international break, but it's over.
Yes,
You know, some
thank
big
goodness.
player news, and club football is back, and I cannot wait for the games coming up.
Make sure you like, follow, share the Coach Killers podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube, all at Coach Killers Podcast.
Yes, and remember, when you're asked about where Western United is from, just say, listen to the Coach Killers podcast, because no one has any idea anyway.
You suck.